Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Talk Spicy. I'm Coach Gene Clemens. Thank you for joining me. Wherever you are joining me, rate the show, comment, agree, disagree, but whatever you do, keep it spicy. 5-star ratings are appreciated. And if you're joining me on the YouTube channel, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. I want to start off by congratulating the Golden State Warriors. They were able to win their fourth NBA Finals championship, and congratulations to Wardell Steph Curry for winning his first MVP. I think that's important, and not because some stupid narrative that some stupid narrative that he needed to win an MVP in order to be considered like a great, but because now I don't have to hear people talk about him not winning an MVP and how somehow that diminished him. See, two things can be true at the same time. I talk about this all the time, and you guys should know that, the guys who listen on a regular basis. Shout out to you, by the way. Two things can be true. Steph Curry can be great, can be an all-time great. And Steph Curry could not have been the reason that they won, though, or the alpha on those teams where they won the championship number 2 and number 3. See, that could both can be true. We can be honest about the Golden State Warriors championships, right? Let's be honest about them. I 100% believe, without a doubt, by the way, that had Kyrie and Kevin Love not been injured year one when they won it, then the Warriors won't win it. But I also 100% know that had KD and Klay Thompson not been injured, they would have won 3 in a row. So I can counterbalance those out. And in my head, I think about, it doesn't matter that Steph Curry wasn't the man on that run with KD, because he was standing next to another titan of the game, not just another really good player. Like when LeBron went down to Miami and he and Wade and Bosh formed the Heatles, like, he was here. But if we're really being honest, neither one of those other two are all-time greats like KD is. Now, Dwayne Wade's a top 75 player. He should be. He's phenomenal. But even in that part of his career, you could already see the decline beginning to happen, right? Slow at that point. But at the height of who he is, no one's ever going to talk about Dwayne Wade in the greatest of all time categories. Not the greatest guard of all time, not the greatest two guard of all time, not the greatest player of all time. And that's not a diss to him. That's just the truth. But KD is in those categories. And Steph is in those categories. Those greatest of all time at this. Greatest of all time overall. LeBron is in that category. So there's no shade in not being the man on a team where you have another, like, one of one all time. But I'm happy that narrative is gone now. I'm happy that we don't have to hear that anymore now. I'm happy that we've gone beyond that, because it really was low-hanging fruit. Like, if we're being honest about these things, like that's so well, he wasn't the MVP. Who cares? A championship is a championship. At the end of the day, if you're cutting down the nets, who cares? I know it's the NBA, they don't cut down the nets. You get the analogy though, right? Like you understand what I'm saying. So I'm happy about that. For the Boston Celtics, they have nobody but themselves to blame. You can't turn the ball over this much and then wonder why you haven't won a championship. Like, for all of the great things that we talked about, Ime Udoka, and he deserved all of them, especially the fact that Nia Long is his boo thing, right? Like, for all the things that he deserves to be applauded for, you have to talk about the fact that he was never able to get them to care for the ball more. That's important. The turnover game in every sport usually dictates the outcome of the game. In every single sport, every single one of them, ones that we care about, football, basketball, hockey, soccer, turnovers, loss of possession kills the team. So, am I surprised that you lose a game when you turn the ball over as much as Boston turns it over? No, I'm not surprised. Hey, Marcus Smart needs to work on his handles in the offseason. I know that sounds crazy to say for a guy who's been in the league as long as he has, for someone who's been a point guard for as long as he has, but he needs to. Jalen's got to work on his handles. He's got to work on his hands. All of that. There were so many possessions that he tricked away just because he couldn't catch a pass. Jason Tatum has to work on his aggressiveness. You can't call yourself Kobe Bryant, or excuse me, you don't call yourself Kobe Bryant. You can't act like you're channeling Kobe Bryant and then go to the hole passively, or don't go to the hole at all. You're 6'10". Like, I don't know if anybody realized this, but Jason Tatum is walking around here playing at a whole 6'10". And not no skinny Kevin Durant when he came into the league, or his first 5 years in the league, skinny. I mean, a filled out, polished, good looking, athletic is all get out 6'10". You cannot be that height and not attack the basket when they don't even have a center in the game. Not a center, no rim protector. All they've got is people who might try to take a charge. You have to attack the basket. So Boston has nobody but themselves to blame. They tricked away a 2-0 lead. They tricked it away. A 2-1 lead. Yeah. They were up 2. I mean, they had 2. If they get 3-1, they hold serve, they win. They didn't. Sorry. You know, the great thing about what happens on a championship team is that somebody gets the light shined back on them, right? In that first Warriors championship years ago, LeBron James was the best player on the court. It wasn't even close. He was so good that in his loss in the finals, I believed that he should be the MVP. I believed that he should win the MVP despite losing. Instead of doing that, they decided to give the MVP to the guy who guarded him. And this Andre Iguodala legend was born. And now Iguodala has 4 championships a la Robert Horry on a team where he was at one point a big piece and now a relatively insignificant piece. But that first championship, he had light shine back on him. He was reinvigorated. He won the MVP. And then he allowed that to be the catalyst for him to spend the next, 5 seasons, 6, 7, 8 seasons getting accolades or collecting checks that he probably didn't deserve. He should have long been out of the NBA. Let's be real about it. He should long be out of the NBA. He's a veteran, so he costs more than a rookie. He barely plays. If you trade him away, he only will play for a certain team, and then he goes right back to Golden State again. So, I was thinking about this because I think that once he won that MVP, people elevated him higher than what he should be. And I think Iguodala is a great player, but he was elevated by that. And I see the same thing happening again. You guys are out here waxing poetic about Andrew Wiggins. You're out here waxing poetic about Andrew Wiggins, talking about how good he is, and y'all are happy that he has this second chapter so that he can, because he's taking them, he's really he's all about the life now, and he's coming to his own. Ladies and gentlemen, make no mistake about it. Andrew Wiggins is a really good role player. He is a role player plus. He's a number 4, a number 3 maybe. But is he more valuable than Draymond? Is he more valuable than Clay? He's certainly not more valuable than Steph. So if he's not more valuable than Draymond, he's not more valuable than Clay, he's not more valuable than Steph, then what are we talking about? Why are we trying to make somebody something that he's not? He's not a superstar. There's no reason for us to treat him like he's a superstar. We should treat him like he's a really good player who had a really good series. But we won't. Watch how you listen this morning to people talk about Andrew Wiggins. Like all of a sudden now he could be the man on the team. We've seen that show. It wasn't impressive. He was not in Minnesota alone. This man had one of the most skilled big men in the league with him, still couldn't do anything. Now I heard Jimmy Butler likes him, which means that he's tough. Cool. Jimmy don't always like the best players. He likes a certain style of player. And so Wiggins should get his flowers. He did a great job. But let's analyze it, right? Let's analyze. He did a great job. Would they have still won this championship without him? Yes. And why? Because you can go and duplicate an Andrew Wiggins like player. You can, man, listen, they talk a lot of stuff about Harrison Barnes. But last time I checked, Harrison Barnes is still good. Last time I checked, Harrison Barnes is still a really good basketball player. He's 30 years old. He's 30 years old. He averaged 16 points and 5 rebounds. 16, 5, and 2. Those were his numbers last year. They talked noise about him in Golden State. And the year after he left Golden State, he averaged 19 points, 5 rebounds. His 2 years in Dallas, or 3 altogether, whatever, 19, 18, 16, 17. 19, 18, 16, 17. He averaged 11 points at the height his 4th year in Golden State. People act as if he was something because Golden State had him when he was 20 to 23. But if they had him in that 24 to now range, they would have had a much better player. They would have had a much better player. And he was good with them, helped them win championships. So now you're going to sit there and dog Harrison Barnes because he couldn't get it done versus LeBron in his prime, which nobody could. Right? You blamed Harrison Barnes. You replaced him with Kevin Durant. You replaced Harrison Barnes, who's a good NBA player, a talented NBA player. You replaced him with one of the most talented NBA players ever, and then you dissed Harrison Barnes? So now, years after, you add Andrew Wiggins. And you're going to give Andrew Wiggins more love than you gave Harrison Barnes? And why? Why are you going to give Andrew Wiggins more love? Because he's a fun story right now, right? That's why. Because he's a fun story. But if we're really being honest, right? If we're really being honest, here's what it looks like. Andrew Wiggins is 26 years old. Remember those years of Harrison Barnes, right? 20 to 24. Andrew Wiggins is 26 years old. This is his 3rd year with Golden State, and only the 1st year that they've had success. If he was this good, how could he have not elevated them when they didn't have Clay? If he was this good, why were they not a factor when other people were injured? He is Harrison Barnes. He's just Harrison Barnes in a different body. 3-and-D kind of guy. Harrison Barnes was probably a little more cerebral. Wiggins, more athletic. I want to give him his props. But the reason that we dissed him, in Minnesota was because so many of you out there tried to tell us that he was a superstar. Y'all were calling this dude Maple Jordan. Canada, Maple. Yeah. So because you were so far on one end, like to the extreme, the recourse was so extreme on the other end. But if you guys had just said, hey, Andrew Wiggins one day can be a piece of a championship team, then nobody would have killed him. Yes, you're right. He can be a piece of a championship team. He can't be the man. We've seen that story. We know how it ends. He's not cut like that. So now that he has won a championship, riding with the Warriors, let's not go overboard. Let's not all of a sudden make him something that he's not. Let's appreciate the talent that he is. Let's not make him something that he isn't, because we know what we have to do then when we make him something that he isn't. Then we have to hit the counterbalance. Once he's not that again, we need to point it out. His game last night wasn't that great. No. Draymond came to play last night. Andrew Wiggins was okay. Andrew Wiggins gave you his coup de grace games in game 4 and game 5. Game 6, they said, hey, youngin, get to the back of the bus. We'll take it from here. Draymond came out, did his thing. Wardell, Stephen Curry did his thing. They're champions. There's no need to elevate. There's no need to raise him above where he should be. That's not what we need to do. And if we just keep him in the lane that he should be, a really good role player, we're great. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Talk Spicy. I'm Coach Gene Clemens. You do this thing a few times a week. Rate the show, comment, agree, disagree, but whatever you do, keep it spicy. 5-star ratings are appreciated. And if you're joining me on the YouTube channel, make sure you like it. Make sure you subscribe it. Leave a comment. If you're on Facebook, leave a comment. If you're on Twitter, leave a comment. We love to hear from you. Until Monday, peace.